here's the most important part that everyone forgets about. The third key ingredient of communication, the number one thing in communication, if it's ever actually going to be called communication: feedback. You have to give feedback. All right, how's everybody doing? It's another great day, and it's time for another lesson from old Aaron here. I have ran across this 3 times in the last week, and so I know for a fact it is happening. And let me tell you the 2 scenarios, and then we'll talk about what it is. I had a salesperson talk to a client, gets off the phone call. He comes to me and he goes, "Hey, I dealt that client. She said she wanted interior plaque. I got her the interior plaque. She says she needed changeable. It's going to be changeable. Not a problem. It's all taken care of." Okay. New sales rep. So, he's just getting his way, getting his feet in his foundation. About a $400 plaque. Not a big deal. Installed, all ready to go. We build the sign, goes up on the wall. She comes back and she goes, "Why isn't it changeable?" And he goes, "Well, I use vinyl. You can just peel the vinyl, put new vinyl on there." She goes, "No, I wanted a magnetic backer." And he goes, "Oh, well, if you had said that, I could have easily built that sign." She goes, "You said changeable." And he goes, "Well, yes, you can change the copy without having to redo the entire sign." So they went back and forth. Long story short, I had to get involved as the sales manager. And I had to talk to the lady and say, "What is your idea of changeable?" She goes, "Magnetic." I said, "Did you ever bring up the word magnetic?" She says, "No." And I said, "I want you to be happy. So we did do what you asked, but you didn't want it. How about if I split the cost with you and I give you 10% off on your next order?" And we made amends. All was good. She's very happy. She said she's going to buy from us again. Proof's in the pudding. We'll figure it out. So that's scenario number one. Scenario number two. I'm talking with my designers and I say, "Hey, this is the new layout that I want to do. I want it to look this way. I want it to look good. I want it to be dialed in. I want the codes down here at the bottom. I want the descriptions on the right-hand side. I want to do this. Can you do a sample layout for me?" And they said, "Sure, not a problem." Not many questions were asked. They went back. They brought the drawings to me. All the special coding was on the right-hand side. The descriptions were on the bottom. And they said, "This isn't going to work because we ran out of room on the bottom." I said, "Well, that's a good reason for that because I didn't ask for that. I asked for it switch." In both case scenarios, what was the problem? If you said communication, you were right on the money. There was a communications problem. And so I started to give a speech to my company. As I'm giving a speech to my company about what communication is and what communication means to you guys, I said, "This is a perfect podcast. So here we go. What are the 3 things that you need to have in communication?" You need to have the person speaking. He's actually speaking. Right now, well, actually, I'm going to ask that in a second here. So right now, I am talking. I'm the person speaking. I'm the one talking right now. Then you need to have a listener, somebody who is taking in the information and understanding that the noise is coming out of my mouth mean thoughts in your head. You need to understand what those thoughts are. So you have a speaker and you have a listener. And here's the most important part that everyone forgets about. The third key ingredient of communication, the number one thing in communication, if it's ever actually going to be called communication: feedback. You have to give feedback. Now, feedback looks 1,000 different ways. It can take on many, many shapes and forms. Feedback number one: somebody speaks. "I understand." Okay. They are telling you that they get the thoughts that you had, what you spoke. They listened and they gave feedback, said, "I understand." Nodding. I nod yes, or I nod no. I don't get it. I need help. But no matter what, in order for communication to happen, you have to have feedback. So let's test this scenario right now. Are we having communication right now? No, we are not. We are not communicating right now. I am speaking. You may be listening, but I have 0 feedback. I don't know if you know how this works or not, but I'm staring at a camera right now, and that camera's not moving. It's not blinking. It's not doing anything to me. I am literally talking to a camera. I have no idea if the words that I'm saying are resonating with you. I might get comments. I might get DMs. I might get people that reach out and talk to me about this podcast, and then there will be communication. But for right now, there is no communication happening because the third and the most important one, feedback, is not happening. Now, I want you to think about all the times that you thought you were communicating in the last 24 hours. If you have teenage kids, you know where I'm going with this. They give you that blank stare of death. Feed the dog. And they stare at you. And you go, can you please feed the dog? And they stare at you. And after a little bit, you go, were you listening? And they go, good to it. About 20 minutes goes by, and you look around, you go, wait a minute. Why is the dog begging and chasing me all around the house? Did you feed the dog? Oh, yeah. And now you have to literally babysit them to get them to do it. Were you communicating? No. Was there feedback? No. There was go away feedback, but they said, I'll get to it. They probably don't even know what they were getting to. They just wanted you to go away. And so there was no real feedback they didn't understand. How about talking to a wall? I walk up to the wall and say, hi, wall, how are you? How are you doing today? Well, the wall can't speak. It can't listen. There's no feedback. I'm literally talking to a wall. There's no communication going on right now. So you, the speaker, has to learn how to communicate properly. This, I hate to say it, the onus falls on the speaker. If you cannot communicate effectively, you are going to have a problem with communication. And people are going to get the wrong idea or definitely a miscommunication if you can't communicate effectively. How do you communicate effectively? Well, it's real simple. You have a beginning, you have a journey, and you have an end. You want them to do something or react a certain way in the future or right now. So in the case of the teenager, would you please feed the dog? Yeah. Yeah, what? Yes, I'll feed the dog. Thank you. I appreciate you going to feed the dog. We are trying to get them to give us a feedback in such a way that they understand the words that are coming out of our mouth. A client. How many times have you thought you've communicated with the client perfectly and it turns out you have not communicated at all with them? Well, one of the things to look for is the body language. Are they looking at you or are they looking away? Are they on their phone while you're talking or trying to multitask? Are they looking up at the clouds and trying to make snow bunny animals up there in the clouds versus listening to you? Just because the words came out of your mouth doesn't mean it resonated, doesn't mean they were listening, doesn't mean that they're actually going to give you feedback. Adults are the worst because they're going to give you lying feedback. They're placating you. They're telling you what you want to hear. I need you to go to the second story, go to the refrigerator on the second shelf, grab the red Coke and bring it back to me. Okay. Okay, what? Okay, you understood the assignment you're going to go do right now? Or, okay, please stop talking. I don't understand what you're saying, but I don't want to feel like an idiot. You know, adults placate other adults all the time. And they truly don't listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. They truly don't understand what's happening. And so for that, we always need to make sure that we have a good feedback and that looks at the body language. I will literally stop talking from time to time when I'm talking to somebody if I see I've lost interest or lost their focus. Maybe it's not even interest. Maybe they're super interested, but their phone rang and it said somebody just got hurt and they're staring at their phone. I'll just stop talking. I'll wait. I'll wait till they re-engage me. They look at me and say, I'm so sorry. Please continue. Oh, feedback. That's good feedback. Now I understand what's happening. I'll take a moment to talk about Square Coil here. Square Coil has been powering the signage industry since 2011, and we're only growing bigger and better and stronger every single day. Some of the latest updates have just made my life a lot easier. I'm sure it's going to make your life a lot easier. So if you haven't checked us out, go ahead and get on our website, squarecoil.com. Take a look. And if you have an outdated key, an old software program that's going to be closing its doors this year, definitely take a look at us because we can make that transition real simple for you. Take a look at squarecoil.com. One of the good ways that I have found over the years of working with my team is I ask them to tell it to me backward. Tell it to me back. I want you to bend these 4 sets of letters and get them over to paint. I go, got it. Okay, cool. Tell me what you're going to do. Uh, 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 I don't know. Okay, cool. So there was no real communication. You didn't understand. I'm going to say it again. I want you to bend these 4 sets of letters and I want you to get them over to paint. Tell me what you're going to do. Oh, I'm going to bend these 4 sets of letters and I'm going to take them over to the paint booth. Perfect. Now you understand the assignment because you regurgitate it back to me in your own words. Having somebody tell it to you back what you just said is really beautiful in a lot of ways and people take offense to it. When you ask them to say it back to you, they go, what? You didn't think I was listening? What do you think I'm stupid? And they get hurt. Their pride gets hurt. And so they fight it. But the sad part is you might have an insight. There might be some psychology there because the more people fight, the more they realize they weren't listening and now they're getting called out and it's embarrassing. So they're going to protect their pride and their ego by getting mad. The people that were listening just regurgitate it back. So when you ask somebody to say it back to me, say, hey, please, can you tell me what you're going to do next? So you make sure we have proper communication and they get defensive, you probably hit the nail on the head and they weren't listening and you're going to have repeated again. So don't get mad back at them. Don't escalate the situation. Just tell them exactly what you want them to do one more time or lead them. Say, well, usually when signs come off the router, what is the next step? I bend them up. Okay, perfect. So what are you going to do? I'm going to bend them up. Perfect. Now we're on the same page. Now we know what's happening. One of the last things that I have found in the last couple of weeks is nobody's this good at communication to where there's no questions. If you are saying a thought or a theory or an idea, then there's going to be questions because your idea of how to attack a theory or a problem is going to be very different from every single person on the planet. That's a good thing. That's great. The more vision, the better. So very excited about that. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right now. But when you explain a new theory, a new thought process, if nobody has any questions, you didn't communicate effectively. They are too scared to ask questions. They're going to try and wing it on their own. It's not going to end well for them. But in the end, you have to get questions asked back. That's one of the greatest things that I love when somebody asks a question. That means they're engaged. They understand it. And now there's a puzzle piece missing in their head. There's a gap in the information and they're trying to fill it by asking questions. Those are the people who are going to get the assignment. We are communicating effectively enough to get to the desired outcome. They understand what we need. This sounds simple, right? This sounds dumb. Like, Aaron, yeah, no shit. You talk, they listen, they nod. We've got communication. Tell me how many times we've failed at this. The simplest task on the planet between two human beings is communication and how difficult it is. Our outside forces are always having a problem. The Instagram, the social media, how fast we want to go to that. It drops it drops a little go feel goods inside your body. You're sitting there going, yep, this is great. Little dopamines. You're super excited. You want to go back to social media. You don't want to listen or apply knowledge or make your brain think. You want to go, it's easy. In our society, people are lazy, not because they wanted to be lazy, because they were trained to be lazy off all the different social media stuff. Getting people to think is difficult. Getting them to communicate on big thoughts and ideas, very difficult. So with that being said, communication is very difficult. Look for the body language. Look to ask questions. Don't get away from the dismarking remarks. What am I trying to say here? God, words fail me right now. My apologies. Dismissive. That's the word I'm looking for. Get away from the dismissive statements just to make you go away. If it's a dismissive statement, stop and start all over again because they weren't listening at all. It's a tough one out there. It really is. Sometimes ownership's a lot of fun. Sometimes ownership's a pain in the butt. But when you don't have communication, trust me, it's going to be a pain in the butt all the time. Talk to you guys next week.